Welcome to the platform, y'all. Free Your Mind, y'all. What's up? What's up? What's up? What it do on this Free Your Mind Saturday? Listen, it is hot. Okay, summer has finally kicked in, and when I say it is hot, I don't care what city you in right now, especially if you're on the East Coast. It is hot. It is hot. It is hot. Okay, y'all. Yes, I know. I told a few people to make sure that ladies, you know what I'm saying, especially if you're over 40, okay? The heat, okay? You see me? I got in the two top dress. It is too hot for the sister, all right? So take them bras off, snap off them undergarments, all right? Don't let this heat sweat you out, okay? Make sure you dehydrate your bodies. Keep a lot of fresh water near you. Alkaline is my preference, and make sure you have some good alkaline cool water to keep you dehydrated in this heat, y'all. Yes, indeed. Listen, last week, actually I did a recap last week. Yes, I did, because I was traveling back from North Carolina from getting my grandmother settled. So we did a recap last week. Shout out to Betty Mary from Genuine Sister Supporting Sisters, because this is the month of May and we celebrate mothers during the month of May. Definitely all year round and every single day. But the month of May, I kind of wanted to dedicate it to the ladies, you know, phenomenal women. So this is why it is Phenomenal Women Month. All right. So, you know, we do have Miss Lisa Davis coming to the platform today to share some mental health awareness tips. Her organization is called Serene for You. She is a licensed mental health practitioner, y'all. So yes, indeed. And I had a pleasure of meeting this lady out at a woman empowerment event. And she definitely has some other businesses coming on. So I definitely wanted her to come on. This is also Mental Health Awareness Month. So, you know, we want to bring that to the forefront now more than ever. And, you know, I've always been speaking about it, but I am so glad that, you know, the nation is catching on of knowing how important it is for us to address some mental health issues. Okay, so like the mass shootings, right? We done had two mass shootings basically that has happened around us lately, right? Two mass shootings. They always try to relate it to mental health. I know a lot of us is outraged by the fact that the young man, 18, they're trying to place it on mental health, and it is. You know, it definitely have to be some type of mental health issue for you to want to go into a grocery store and start to shoot at people. And yes, it was, you know, a race situation, but at the same time, to just go into a place, a public place, and start shooting at anybody, we know that got to be related to some type of mental health in some degree. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want to be real about it, I think racism is definitely some type of mental health issue. When I say that, it's because your mind has been programmed to hate another person. You know what I mean? So that's definitely some type of factor to go with mental health, you know what I mean, outside of the hate, you know what I mean? So listen, I would want us to do our best measure to keep all parties in prayer. I know it's so easy for us to get upset when we are attacked and violated by another, which we should. We have that right to be. But at the same time, you know, we all have to remember who our God is. You know what I'm saying? We all have to remember the fact that, you know, regardless of all our wrongs and all our mistakes, he truly loves all of us. You know what I'm saying? And um, hopefully, we don't know why, and we don't know what God's plan is or anything, but I just hope this just starts shifting a whole lot of different awareness that we need. I hope it starts shifting somehow a whole bunch of love. I just am a believer that, you know, nothing is allowed without God's plan. And He's been trying to wake us up, y'all, for quite a while now, from all sectors. Just being able to love each other in the world, to really know what it is to be human in society, and how we need to definitely treat each other on a regular basis, how we need to love each other no matter what our color is. You know what I'm saying? We all bleed the same. You know what I'm saying? So, once, you're a puncher or whatever, you bleed red, I bleed red, we all bleed red, no matter what your culture, your nationality is, what your background is. And yes, we know, what America has stood for. We definitely understand the history behind this country, but we also got to give credit to the many, 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 many progress that has taken on in this country as well. So, unfortunately, we're going to get some of that. You know what I'm saying? You can't have anything all positive. So we definitely going to have, unfortunately, these type of mishap of mass shootings, going on. And it's terrible. It's terrible. So I definitely want to let's first give a moment of silence to those families that have lost their loved ones or that is still suffering um, in the hospital and trying to get better from any type of wounds. And also, it has played a mental part, I'm sure, on everybody, the family and the people of Buffalo. And I just want everyone to just go ahead. Let's give this family a moment of silence right quick. Okay, I'm gonna turn my mic off. Amen. So listen, um, actually, while I was doing that, it just came into my spirit to go ahead and share a little bit of this news information, a little clip from this situation that has happened, just in case those haven't seen it, don't know about it. Um, let's just see this dispatch call because I've been wanting to listen to it from the dispatcher that actually um, accepted this call. I just had a voicemail footage for it. I don't know what happened. And maybe the audio real quick, but give me a moment. But this story, this tragedy is definitely heartbreaking. I have family in Buffalo. I know how disturbed they are right this moment. And then there was another one. This just happened in Chicago recently. Let's just check out this one right now. This just happened in Chicago as well. It wasn't as
Growing up in
manifest,
a little red
but
house
we
on the edge of a
definitely want
forest in
to
Norway.
check this out real quick.
When it's real, you feel it.
For me, real feels nourished.
Very smooth, it has a lot of movement.
Real's as good as it gets. Because nothing feels better than real. Herbal essences. Feel what's real.
Begin with CBS 2 investigator Megan Hickey. She is live at the scene. That's Chicago and State. Megan.
Jim and Marie, police records obtained by the CBS 2 investigators show that CPD recovered a semi-automatic gun with an attachment that allowed it to hold more bullets. The CBS 2 investigators have also confirmed the identity of the shooter, but right now we are not naming him because he has not been charged. The bustling intersection of Chicago and State turned into a violent, chaotic crime scene around 10:40 Thursday night.
A whole bunch of shots just fired out. You know what I mean?
CPD says roving police patrols were in the area when the fighting started. Then a shooter opened fire on the crowd.
Just started shooting everywhere. It just hit everybody.
Police chased the shooter and a group of people he was with into the Red Line station. Superintendent David Brown said one person tried to keep officers from arresting the suspect. Both that man and the shooter were soon taken into custody. While all of this was happening, a woman in the group was shocked after touching the third rail on the CTA tracks. She's listed in critical condition. Brown said pod camera video shows someone handing the gun to the shooter right before the shots were fired. They're trying to identify that person, too.
This is a gun crime crisis.
Superintendent Brown blamed the incident on the accessibility of often illegal guns, but also acknowledged the spot's history of crime and violence. He said CPD will now have a fixed patrol on that stretch of State and another fixed patrol at the Red Line stop. The Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection
We'll look at hours of operation. We'll look to make sure that the licensing is compliant with regulations.
Is also getting involved, looking into how area businesses, the McDonald's in particular, might be able to curb the violence. Now, the McDonald's is closed.
Look, y'all. We have to definitely get a handle on some of this right here. I don't know even where to begin. We have mass shootings going on. We have cultures and ethnic groups being targeted. And then we also have, our youth within our inner cities killing each other. So, we're never going to get control over guns. I don't care what we try to do, how we try to control it. But because of the NRA, I mean, that's a wrap. Like, it is already government invested business. And it is, unfortunately, we are already in debt to them. And it's one of the highest organizations in America. So getting control on guns, unfortunately, really it's not going to happen. But what do we try to do as society? I always say parents, starting at home, right? Listen, not even just home, your relative. If you know they're acting a little different, if you know they're acting off in some type of way, any of those flags, any of those signals, don't brush that off. Don't brush it off. Like, I think we need to start there. Stop trying to brush those things off and try to get help for our relatives or our friends or, our neighbors or those within the community. Sometimes those signs are hard to see, which I get that. But I think a society now does too much of trying to mind our own business, and we don't pay attention to the people around us. So whenever people are seeming to be different and act different, we need to get them help. That's not the time to be picking on them or making fun of them or, saying or making it mediocre. No, it is that time to try to reach out to that person and try to get some type of support for them. A lot of times, people don't have the support that they need. A lot of time, it is drug related. So there's so many different scenarios to why we have these type of situations going on. So listen, I want you to call into 855 if you have any type of questions or if you want to speak about this topic regarding these mass shootings. Where do you think that we should begin to get a grip on it? I'm saying? What is it that you feel you should be able to do within your own community and your own society in order to help curb it? Maybe what is it that you can do in your own household? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you be more supportive to the people that you're around every day? Let's stop there. So if you have anything to speak on this topic, please call in to 855-915-5318. And the number is 855-915-5318. Or just go ahead and chat it up on YouTube. Give us a chat on YouTube. Give us a chat on Facebook. Let me know, what do you feel needs to be a change? Where do we need to start? How do you think we can curb this violence that has been going on amongst our nation and then also just personally within our communities? Just a lot, y'all. Just a lot. Just excuse me, just a lot. I'm saying that because a family reached out to me the other day about some shootings that happened in DC, senseless acts of violence. And, I see some of these young men sometimes just on the street walking around, not even knowing basically who they are. And I have gone through some similarities throughout my own family, around my own children, but I get a handle on those type of things as soon as possible, just because I want them to be productive in society. And we all have some type of mental health issues, or we all go through moments where we may have a breakdown, or we just may be going through depression or anxiety. All of those things are mental health. So we need to definitely support our families and our friends, and like I said, our neighbors and people within our community a lot more than what we do. And I think it will start to help to get a handle on things, because a lot of times people don't feel like they have the support that they need, and don't know how to begin to even get that support. So anything that we can do to help another person, I believe will start to begin to get a handle on things. So yeah, so I'm going to wait for Dr. Davis to get here to share on some mental health awareness tips. But, keep that in mind. You know what I mean? Keep that in mind. I really think the time is now. A lot of each generation, of course, feel like the end of the world is here. You know what I'm saying? No man know the day or the hour when that end of the world is here. But I do know that God is calling us to do something. You know what I mean? God is calling us to make changes within our community, within our society, to treat each other better, to love each other better, because you never know what that other person is going through. Okay. And that's what he put us on earth for. He put us on earth to be here for each other, support each other, to, family support, community support. And so we have to just start doing better, I'm saying, in our society as a whole, period. All right. So just sharing that little information. I just felt that I needed to really share and highlight some of that, because it's a sad situation, and you may not feel that it has anything to do with you, or was it your family? Maybe you feel like, it doesn't matter, but it does. You know what I'm saying? It does. So we have to definitely make sure that we get ourselves together. You know what I'm saying? So let's please just start to support each other, love each other, and just do what we have to do better in society. So I'm gonna go into a quick break, so I can get our guests ready to come on. And listen, it is still a beautiful Saturday. I know that was a little sad note, but I'm just going to bring some awareness back to you. But I want to go ahead and play my girl, what I'm saying, Ayana B. Jackson, Stoner Chick. So let's play her one more time, because I love her and she's doing great things. And she's going to be on our showcase. So Ayana B. Jackson, y'all.
Yeah, we get faded and underestimated. I know you hate it, but we got all the patience. Life is what we make it, but while we're waiting, we fire it up, breathing the love, laughing out loud, and fuck your opinion. Listen, girls with class who can puff past too. Put one in the air up your puff pass crew. We do what we wanna do, making high moves, just with a better view. The attitude of a stoner, stoner. This is for my stoner, stoner chicks. Not so uptight, we're only living one night. 12 until midnight, we're moving with the time. All up in the vibe, yeah, we're flying. We running the town, blowing on clouds. This is our sound. We can get louder. Girls with class who got rings and tattoos, lighters in the air, spark one up in hell. We do what we wanna do, making high moves, just with a better view. The attitude of a stoner. Stone chicks. Stone chicks.
Mr. Bombastic. We want is a bombastic, romantic, fantastic lover. Shaggy. Mr. Lover, lover. Now Mr. Lover, lover. Girl. Mr. Lover, lover. Now Mr. Lover, lover. She call me Mr. Bombastic, send me fantastic. Touch me on me back, she says I'm Mr. Romantic. Call me fantastic, touch me on me back, she says I'm Mr. Smooth, just like a silk. Soft and cuddly, hug me up like a quilt. I'm a lyrical lover, now take me thin or filled with my sexual physique. You know me well, Bill, do me, oh my, well, can't you tell? I'm just like a turtle crawling out of my shell. Girl, you captivate my body, put me under a spell. With your couscous perfume, I love your sweet smell. You're the only young girl who can ring my bell, and I can take rejection. So you tell me go to well, I'm bombastic, tell me fantastic. Touch me on my back, she says I'm Mr. Romantic, call me fantastic. She touch me on my back, she says I'm Mr. Boom, 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 bombastic. Tell me fantastic, touch me on my back, she call me Mr. Romantic. Tell me fantastic, she touch me on my back, she says I'm Mr. Boom, boom. Gee-whiz, baby please, let me take you to an island of the sweet cool breeze. You don't feel like drive, well baby hand me the keys, and I will take you to a place and set your mind at ease. Don't you tickle my foot bottom, baby please. Don't you play with my nose, cause I'm a tune sneeze. Well you are the bun and me are the cheese, and if I'm me are the rice, well baby love you the peas. I'm bombastic, and the fantastic. Touch me on me back, she says I'm Mr. Romantic, and the fantastic. Touch me on me back, she says I'm Mr. Boom, boom, boom. Bombastic, and the fantastic. Touch me on me back, she says I'm Mr. Romantic, and the fantastic. Touch me on me back, she says I'm Mr. Boom, boom. I say give me your loving, girl you loving well, good. I want your loving, y'all beat it like you should. I give you your loving, girl you loving well, good. I want your loving, y'all you remember the would you like to kiss and caress, rub down every strand of your bandages. I'm bombastic, rated as the best you should get. Nothing more, nothing less. Give me your digits, chat on your address. I bet you confess when you put me to the test that I'm bombastic. Tell me fantastic, touch me on the box, she says I'm Mr. Romantic. Tell me fantastic, touch me on the box, she says I'm Mr. Boom. Tell me fantastic, touch me on the box, she says I'm Mr. Romantic. Tell me fantastic, touch me on the box, she says I'm Mr. Bombastic. Girl, your admiration, it lit me from the start. With such physical attraction, girl, you know to feel the spark. I want a few words, now go tell you no sweet talk. Now go laba, and not chat pure fart. I'll get straight to the point, like a aura dart. Come lay down on the jacuzzi and get some bubble bath. Only sound you will hear is the beating of my heart. And we will and have some sweet pillow talk. And bombastic, and the fantastic. Nothing on the box, it says Mr. Romantic, call me fantastic. Touch me on me back, she says I'm Mr. Smooth.
Hey, yes, y'all. Mr. Bombastic, Chef Shaggy, y'all. Yes, indeed. Listen. Our guest is here. Licensed mental health practitioner, Miss Lisa Davis. Like I said, we are putting awareness on mental health, and this is Mental Health Month. And I'm just glad that the nation is taking mental health seriously and definitely putting into the money, the grants, and the effort to bring this awareness to light. So listen, y'all, let's give Miss Lisa Davis a warm welcome to the platform today. Woo! You can unmute yourself. I can unmute you if you need me to.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, Miss Lisa Davis. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I want to announce my new name. My new name. I know we tried to get it on. We did everything we could. It's Miss Banks, but I'll take Davis today for those who on here that do remember me. Hello, everyone.
Yes. Hi. Congratulations on your newlywed.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So, Miss Davis, I wanted to bring you on here this week. We are still celebrating Mental Health Awareness Month, and definitely celebrating phenomenal women, our phenomenal sisters that's definitely doing things in our community. And so I want you to announce your business, and then we'll just get going on to the interview.
Okay, that sounds good. I am Lisa Banks. I have a wellness company, which is Clean and Serene for You. We specialize in counseling services as well as meal planning. And also I do a great foot massage. Thanks for that cup.
Yes, she does.
I do a great foot massage, but in the process of the foot massage, we basically do a detox with the foot and also do the prayer services. Well, not like spiritual, religious prayer, but we get the massaging because everything that we do when we working and everything, we stand up on our feet.
Yeah.
And so that's one of my specialties that I got going on right now with the Clean and Serene for You.
So just real quickly, when you're cleansing the feet and massaging the feet and getting the detoxes out of the feet, I think that I read something before that just like you said, a lot of things that we go through our body actually shifts down through our feet. Is that right or that's correct?
That's absolutely correct. You remember back in the older days, for those that's on the line, you remember when we used to have headaches and your grandmother put some onions or some potatoes in your socks and in your feet, and then it turned real black and everything was gone. So yes, that is very much true. The feet gives out toxicity. It lets go a lot of toxicity through your feet. Yes.
Oh, great. Awesome. So with this mental health awareness going on, just tell us a little bit of how long you've been in practice and basically your journey.
Yeah. So mental health. I began the journey of working in mental health in 2006. I started out being a substance abuse counselor in the early days when Second Genesis, I don't know if people are familiar with that treatment center, when Second Genesis was around. My mother actually was a nurse, so she had a lot of caretaking. I grew up around a lot of caretaking. She was a nurse and she actually had patients in our house. She did like what they call now senior care living. So I was always brought up in a loving, kind of caring kind of environment. However, when I got to working in substance abuse, I was introduced to the mental health side. Now, back then, people didn't really acknowledge mental health. People was afraid to say that they was depressed. They was afraid to say that they had alcohol or substance abuse addictions. And a lot of people just went on with life like nothing was wrong. I actually had a cousin that had something like a Mickey was put in her drink years ago, and I watched her go through the mental stages. So the mental stages from being I think it's called a Mickey, being sipped a Mickey. So we got a chance to see what was going on with her. And so I started being interested because my mom died. And when my mom died, I definitely had to go to grief counseling. And that was the beginning of my journey.
Yes. Listen, while you were speaking on the Mickey being put in your cousin's drink, the same thing happened to my son. When I say a bright kid, top of his class, a renowned entertainer, definitely his career went far, and he ended up coming back from California, of course trying to put everybody on from the DMV, his friends, and someone that he thought was close to him was jealous of him and did the same thing to him. And I definitely was naive about it in the beginning. I thought it was something that would wear off. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, he's not an addict, he's not addicted, you know what I'm saying? And thought that it wouldn't have the effect that it did on his mental health, but he did. And he has a slight case of schizophrenia developed from that. So I definitely do you think a lot that's going on, especially in DC and basically around the world right now in our nation with these young kids in our communities that are shooting each other and having these issues. Do you think a lot of that has to do with mental health?
It absolutely does, Pebbles. It absolutely does. We are definitely being traumatized. So trauma, you can have indirect trauma and you can have trauma that's not direct, meaning that it didn't happen right to you, but it's happening around. George Floyd was a trauma for us. The pandemic is a trauma for us. People being killed in the neighborhoods is a trauma. Carjacking. I just had got some information today, and I actually wanted to do a moment of silence. I was going to ask you.
Absolutely.
A friend of mine was killed, Cal and his wife. I don't know if people know who Cal is, but you all on this line, I'm quite sure if you in the DMV area and you on Facebook, you'll probably end up hearing it. But I got the news today. And that right there has changed the whole day for everybody, especially
Yeah.
people that know him. Him and his wife. His wife's name is Charlie, and his name is Cal. So yeah, but definitely we are affected by our friends and what they go through with their family members. You're affected
Yes.
by your people on your job. You're affected by the things that your children do. And a lot of us are not accepting the fact that these things are happening and they're changing the dynamics of our lives.
Absolutely.
That's the mental health. That's the mental health piece, Fabulous. It changes the dynamics of our life. A lot of people have started back using drugs and alcohol. Marijuana has been decriminalized. People are smoking. Marijuana is one of the drugs that causes schizophrenia.
Mm.
Marijuana is also a drug, and I'm not taking it from anybody that uses for medical purposes, but there's a way to use marijuana. People are using it now to cover up their feelings and to soothe them. Marijuana can also cause sexual drives to be affected. People are not being fertile. So it's a lot with drugs out here. You got the pills, you got the Mollies, you got the Percocets, the fentanyl. People are taking things now. It's called self-medicating. That's
Yeah.
what it's called.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Can you say, I know Charlie's name, but can you go ahead and let's give a moment of silence to them and say their names again, please?
Cal and Charlie, husband and wife, killed
Um,
last night.
well, let's give a moment of silence, y'all.
Mm.
All I know is healing, healing, healing. Like we
Mhm.
definitely need healing. What do you think is the first thing to begin? I know personally in my situations, once I see a change, because both of my children have went through trauma, and once I see a change, immediately I'm seeking out help and things like that. I had a mother through drug addiction, and I always felt that if they would have provided her the support that she needed early on, she very well could have kicked it. So I never wanted to be one to shy away from situations that I see. And I know, especially in our Black communities, mental health has always been kind of put in the back burner or hidden, and people never wanted to accept it or didn't feel the need to go to seek help. So whenever I start seeing changes within my own children, I immediately seek help and attention because I definitely want them to be successful adults and be productive in society. So what do you think some of the first signs are when people may be going through this with their own family and friends or people just around them?
You know, people actually see the symptoms, Pebbles. One of the things about us, and I want to say us when I'm talking about the Black race, our community, our culture, some of us grew up in a household where what goes on in this house stays in this house. We were those type raised where we didn't really talk about what was going on. So the first thing is to, number one, don't go into denial about it. Face it. Have a loving conversation about it, because there is help. There's so many different ways of help. Also, have a support person. Have a support person that you are comfortable with telling everything to. I have a girlfriend that's been my friend for 30 years, over 30 years, and I tell her everything. If I don't need to tell God, I tell her, because I know God knows what I'll see it on anyway.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
but just being able to have someone that you trust, that you can talk about everything to. So the first step, Pebbles, and that's a good question, is to, number one, don't go into denial. You're not by yourself. Number two, you want to be able to have a person that you can talk to. You want to call a counselor. You want to have a mentor, a sponsor, a good girlfriend, because this is honoring phenomenal women. And we carry a lot. We are the nurturers of the universe. We are everything. Adam was here by himself and named everything and had everything, and still was empty until we was formed.
Yes.
Okay, so we are the everything.
Everything. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And that's why I always say it's never taken away from the men, never taken away from their contributions and who they are in our world as well. But we definitely have to, the world doesn't go around without no woman, period. You know what I'm saying? It does not. And God has built us to do the nurturing. He built us, to be that emotional person, because a lot of times they have no type of understanding when it comes to this type of thing. They don't even know how to begin. I can share a story when my daughter was gang raped, and me and my ex was not her father, but basically like her stepfather. And thank God he's still in my children's life, but my youngest son dad. And whenever we was trying to go to family counseling and stuff, he was running from it. And I couldn't understand. I'm like, okay, well, we're trying to get her together. We're trying to get her straight. And it's like he wasn't in that, okay, let's get it done type phase that I was. And I really, for a long time, couldn't understand it. As he matured, he apologized, but it just made me realize that I used to like, dang, my grandmother's the one that was taking me to counseling, you know what I'm saying? Or, the women in my family is the one that was always making sure that we went to the doctors or whatever the case may be. I never really saw men so much in that sector in order to do that. So you're absolutely right. And I don't know if it's just their makeup. I thank goodness that because mental health awareness had become such a big thing in our society. And finally, the Black community is starting to take heed of it and really do more with their own self and their own families, and definitely get the support and help that they need. So I'm really proud of that we're finally coming out of that state of mind of hiding it. You know what I'm saying? So you're absolutely right. I wanted to just go into a quick break, Lisa, whatever. We're going to come right back in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to sing a song, but definitely you are touching on everything that we didn't know. So I appreciate you being here today. Give us about 5 minutes, y'all. We're about to go on a break, listen to some music, and we'll be right back with Miss Lisa Davis on Mental Health Awareness.
Thanks for having me, Pebbles. Thanks for having me. Okay.
Yes, indeed. We'll be right back.
Last night I
Yes, yes, y'all. We back, we back, we back. Can we talk? Sometimes when it comes to mental health awareness, y'all, some people just need people to talk to. So we are here today with Miss Lisa Davis, licensed mental health practitioner, y'all, giving us some mental health awareness tips that we need to be aware of, that we need to know, those signs to look for within our family. So, make sure that you start paying attention to that. Um, Mental health awareness is at a all-time high. I think it was more noticeable probably since this COVID pandemic that we have been in. And so definitely the government has been producing a lot of grants and bringing mental health awareness to the forefront. So I am thankful for everyone that's out in our nation, our society, that is really trying to put a cap on mental health awareness. And that's why we got Miss Lisa Davis here today, just to share those things with us of how we get past that. So we were speaking about these mass shootings that's been happening across our nation, and also as well as these senseless shootings that's been happening within society and within our communities. And it has been unfortunate. I know people were saying we have to do something about these guns, and like I said, unfortunately, I don't think that um, guns will ever be able to be controlled just because of our government is so already in debt with the National Rifle Association. Those people, they right there out in Virginia. If you ride past 66 and you happen to look over maybe around Centerville, Virginia, I think something like that, that's where the headquarters are. So I don't know if people are actually going up there, maybe protesting or trying to get some answers on the cap of guns. But unfortunately, I just don't think that's something that will go away in our nation. But however, what we can do is start to tap into our own families and those that we are with every day within our own communities, and making sure that we are healthy and we being as supportive as possible to each other. Again, we got Miss Lisa Davis for our mental health practitioner today, giving us some mental health tips. Welcome back, Miss Lisa Davis. Glad to have you here. And we just thank you so much for being here and sharing this awareness that we so need in our society today. With these mass shootings that's been going on, we had a couple back to back just right here lately. And I know a lot of people, especially the one in Buffalo, gearing it toward it being a hate crime. I know people are very upset because they are putting it on more mental health that opposed to just being a hate crime. But isn't hate a part of mental health awareness as well? I would think it is, but I could be wrong.
Pebbles, you are so on it. I want to thank you. I want to thank your audience for taking the time, and everybody that's on the line to take the time to listen as a result of being here with us today. Yes. Hate is a very strong word.
Mhm.
Racism is a very strong word.
Absolutely.
Just the fact of our color of our skin and watching what we go through, our children. I have a son. He was pulled over by the police because of the fact that he had dark tints on his window and something about a tag. And when he called me, guess what he said? And I was in tears. He said, "Mom, it was 8 polices and I wanted to make it home to you. So I did
Oh,
everything you told me
yes.
to do."
Yes, absolutely.
So,
Yes, sir.
so for us to watch anybody kill us,
Yeah.
and it seemed like nothing is being done, and the guy was able to get in the back of the car and go and like nothing happened, but
Yeah.
they killed Floyd on the street, and the rest of them that didn't even have a weapon, and
Yes.
this man was
Armed.
killing armed, so
Yeah.
that in itself is depressing.
Oh, absolutely.
That's mental health. That would be the word that I would use in reference to hate, because that is depression.
Yeah.
For us to see and to witness. And it can also tap into a person's self-worth, their value, and their self-esteem. They feel like, oh, we don't count. We do count.
Absolutely.
We do
Yes.
count. We do count. So yes, grudges, resentments can definitely lead to a person having a breakdown, which I will relate that to grief and loss for sure. Definitely depression and anxiety.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Is medicine always the answer to mental health? You went mute.
Oh, knowing. So I don't want to say no. Because some people don't want to take medication, and it's usually the people that need it the most. From where I sit, I watch people behavior, and I watch, especially with the bipolar. Bipolar people, y'all know they may say women have bipolar. If you still come on your cycle, you don't come on your cycle. We
Right.
and all around. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely. Emotions all over the place.
Emotions all over the place. But when it becomes a problem, that's when you identify as a person needing help. I'm going to give you a quick example. If I'm angry all the time and I'm fighting, I'm getting in trouble, I'm getting arrested, I can't get on my coworkers, and that's a problem. You can see the mental health. That's a problem. At that point, a person needs to seek help. And if they offer them medication, I would tell anyone, look at the medication, right? And Google is everything. You can look at the medication. I'm gonna give you all a place to go look at different diagnoses. It's called DMS-5, and I'll break it down to you before I leave. In Pebbles, you can probably look it up because people can get the book and they can just look through it and Google it. And I don't have my book actually here. I'm trying to see if I had one. Yeah, I left it at work, but I'll give it to you. You can look at all the different diagnoses and you can read about them. Yes, medication.
So DMS 5, such as D as in diagnosis, M as in medication, and S as in symptoms.
Right, but the acronym for DMS is diagnostics, manual, statistics. Diagnostics, manual, statistics. And in that DMS-5 is where the psychiatrists, doctors, right?
Yes.
The psychiatrist is the person that gives the medication. The psychologist is the person that actually talks to you about it. Psychiatrist is the person that actually writes the script for the medication. So those are two different people.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to identify that. But yes, so if you have to take medication, you can look up the medication. If the dosage is too high, you can always ask for it to come down. It's called dose adjustment. You can get a dose adjustment. They recommend it once you start taking the medication that you don't just stop taking it because different side effects. Now, if you're able to manage, now I was once diagnosed with depression when my mom died. My mother died on my birthday. And so I was diagnosed with depression, and she died when I was a teenager. So I was very vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I had just completed a journey, and I had just started my new way of life on this journey, and she was gone and taken away from me. And I was very depressed and did not know it. I thought I was okay, but I was sad. I was always going to the funeral. To the grave site. I was having dinners. I was posting stuff in the newspaper and everything. And I started going to counseling and therapy, and I'm actually in therapy today still as a professional. And I had to change that around. And they offered me, and I also had postpartum after my son. I had that, and they gave me medication for that. And then I had some anxieties, and I was given medication for that. So yes, if medication works, you don't have to stay on it forever. But if it's going to get you to be where you can function, then yes, you can take it.
So how do you know when it's safe to actually stop taking your medication? Like when do you know that it may be, safe enough for you to wean yourself off the medication?
Well, that's what you're going to talk to the person that wrote the script. You're going to talk to your psychiatrist. Y'all going to come up with a plan. It's called. You can come up with a plan. It's called a master. It's called a master plan. You come up with a master plan. You go meet with your psychiatrist, your psychologist. You're like, look, I need to see somebody. I need to see some help. Okay, I'm gonna refer you to the psychiatrist. Most of the psychiatrists should be in a person's insurance. They can call their insurance and see what the near doctor is around. And you tell them, listen, I'm coming here. I have this. They'll tell you what you have. They'll give you different assessment tests. They'll tell you even about a good doctor is going to talk to you about the medication. They're going to tell you about the different medications. Because when you start taking medication, you have to have your primary care doctor.
Okay.
And you have to have your psychiatrist just because of your medical. People have high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever the case may be. You got to take lab work. You want to make sure, right? You want to make sure that your medicine is going to be effective with whatever else is going on with your body.
Things that I never really took awareness of before, like you go on doctor's visits and they start asking you a bunch of questions about your family background and things of that nature. Does mental health actually run in families?
Yes. Yes, that is a very good question. We need to know our DNA. We definitely need to know our DNA, and it can skip generations. So I give you an example. My mother's side of the family is more medical with diabetes and high blood pressure. My dad's side, sorry for those that may be tuned in, they actually have mental health. I had an uncle that had lost his mind, and a couple of them, and the way some of them act now, they functional, but you can definitely know. I know as a mental health practitioner that mental health is mainly on my father's side of the family. So you definitely want to know your DNA, and don't be in denial about it, because you're going to have kids and you're going to be able to want to see them in them and their kids. Yes. So yes, it does. And it can skip. My brother so they say crazy. I'm just making a joke, y'all. We can just make a joke. Yeah, it may skip his daughter, but then it may get his son. So yes.
Because I was kind of going through that for years. I did not know my biological father, and so every time I go to doctor visits and they ask these different questions, and then my children have to answer questions, I'm like, I don't know anything about my father's side of family, or anything that they may have. And then I finally, my dad found me last year, and so come to find out, I have a sister that's suffering from bipolarism and schizophrenia, like really, really bad. And so my dad started to say, I think this does run in our family. And I told him, I'm glad I met you at the nick of time, because I'm trying to get my son's diagnosis in order. And I wonder, did some of this come from his dad as I learned more about it and how it start, coming on also in age and different things of that nature. Did this actually run through, our family in any type of way? So it brought me more awareness. The more I study it, the more I read about it. I'm like, yeah, this is very well can be passed down from generation. Like you said, it can skip a generation, but then it can go down to your children. So I used to say, like, so my mother, whatever, like not knowing my father, and also asking God, like, to reveal something to me, because this may have, which I know both of them went through trauma, but at the same time, I went through trauma. And I think that I might have went through, I remember I was about maybe 12 years old. And I used to be like a fire starter. But I knew it wasn't, I guess the mental health part was more of me not understanding where my mother was, because she was out in the world on drugs, and just my whole life had turned around. So I was acting out a lot, like, fighting all the time. I was, I definitely was a fire starter. I'll burn somebody's house down in a minute, all the things. And I remember that, yes, crazy. Mm-hmm. And I remember my grandmother taking me to counseling sessions, and as I got grown, I realized she worked in the hospitality industry, so she probably got that EIP, which can give you that 3 free counseling sessions, because I knew I only went to 3 sessions. And then after that, it wasn't. And I sometimes wonder, was it myself that got a control of myself, or was it really a mental health disability I was going through, or what the changes was? But I know that once I became in my 20s that I started, and I think it's about me having children, that I felt that, I need to change my life around and do better for my children and myself, that I started making changes when I was in my 20s. But it makes me wonder sometimes, like, how people can't recover from that, or how people have never changed from that. And I know drugs can be very powerful, but my mother is almost 70 years old and still have a drug addiction, and she has had it since I was 8 years old. And so I just don't understand how she can't break from that habit.
Well, Pebbles, I'm a recovering person from substance abuse. Back in the day, PCP was one of my drug of choice. I was Lunchbox Lisa, and
Would have never known. But never
yeah,
tell. Yeah,
I was a teenager and I haven't had no drugs my adult life. But I want to say this, working in addiction, and working with people with mental health, you never really, really know what is actually going on with that particular person.
Mhm.
When a person continues to substance abuse, it becomes past. So it starts out with just the usage, where your person just indulging. It
Yeah,
become abuse when they continue, and they can't stop, and things are starting to happen in their life where
yeah,
they're getting in trouble. Now, once a person is past that stage and they just using, they're now in what is called the dependency stage. So they are dependent on the drug, and a
mhm,
person gets conditioned, right? And get conditioned to just that way of life. Now, what
right,
has to happen is a person has to change within. But a person has to make that first step. And some people don't like to look at, let me tell you something. Back in the day,
yeah,
you would never imagine what a lot of our parents and grandparents really went through, men and women. And you
yeah,
spoke on something earlier, Pebbles, about men being able to talk about what goes on with them. A lot of men do not communicate what goes on with them because they was always told to be strong and firm and don't cry. A lot of distorted core beliefs that really should not even exist within our family. We need to talk. We need to be able to express what's going on with us so that we won't suppress it. When we suppress it, men are having a heart failure and all kind of stress. To me, stress is mental health. Stress is
yeah,
definitely mental health, and it's definitely a medical problem too. So, and going back into the addiction part, a person becomes conditioned to just that way of life when they feel like this is it. People get high. Listen, I can't function being high. I can't even imagine what life is like being under the influence, right?
mhm,
I got to deal with things head on. I've been so used to dealing with stuff head on. I can't deal with anything with not even a Tylenol. I need to be able to face everything. You got some people, Pebbles, that don't want to face nothing. You don't know what your mother really has been through in her life.
true,
You don't know what her story is. You don't know why she want to stay medicated. Why
right,
this is just it for me. You know what I mean? That's how, and I'm gonna give y'all a little story real fast.
yeah,
I suffer from fibroids, right? And I had a real bad menstrual cycle. And since we all women, I had a real bad menstrual cycle, and I had to get a blood transfusion. I'm anemic with my low in iron. I had to get an iron infusion. And so after 10 years of me just going through it, I finally went to the doctor, and I just had my fibroid surgery, actually October the 12th of 2021, right? It hadn't even been a year yet. My
yeah,
cycle just came back on. But I'm gonna tell you something. When I got to the
right,
doctor, they gave me all these different scenarios. They wanted me to take my uterus. No, y'all ain't getting my uterus to give it to
right,
Becky. You ain't giving
yeah,
my uterus to Becky. No. Becky, Becky and Karen ain't getting this uterus. So I was like,
hello,
no. I was like, no, that wasn't an option. They wanted to put me on birth control. That caused blood clots at my age. I was like, no. They wanted to give me a pill for heavy bleeding, but then they had something where they can burn the fibroids to kind of slow the blood down and burn the cells. So I took that option. But let me tell you something what the doctor said to me. The doctor said, how did you manage to do this for so long? And I answered him, I said, I got conditioned to this is the way that it's going to be. I would tear the chair up with blood, excuse me, ladies, and change
Yes.
hands about 5 or 6, 8 of them. And one
Yes.
time I would be in the bed, taking off work and laying down, taking the medic, you know what I mean? And that was just a way it had became. He said, no. He said, no, but when you're tired, I got tired. Some
Yeah.
people get tired and some people don't, Tosh, Pebbles. Some people don't. You
Yeah.
know, they get conditioned to that way, and that's just it. And the only thing we can do is pray for people like that, because you never know. And a lot of people don't like to feel pain. That's why they use. Some people don't like to sit with themselves. Some
Yeah.
people can't even sit with themselves long enough to feel nothing.
Oh, that's cool. And I definitely know that's a way to be true. I had to learn that and stop. And I would have conversations with my mother over the years. Like I'm like, we can never just really have like a solid conversation. And it's not about, I've always tell her over and over again, I forgive you, but I need you to forgive yourself. But we can never have any type of conversation because I think she always hold that guilt of not being in my life or whatever. So just
Yeah.
sitting down and having just a regular mother and daughter conversation, we can't without it going left all the time. So I just learned how to just keep quiet. You know what I'm saying? Just love her where I can
Yeah.
and of that nature, and just kind of be like, okay, you know, instead of going back and forth, because soon as it's going back and forth, it's a whole nother
Yeah.
crazy situation.
Yeah.
And I'll be trying my best um to not do anything that makes her want to use more.
Right.
I've always thought that. I know when just a little bit my background when I was in the streets, and I was about maybe 21, and I told God, I said, I will stop selling drugs if you get my mother off of drugs. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I thought that if I stopped doing what I'm doing, maybe somehow it would stop her from doing what she was doing. In some type of way, I was just trying to see what type of generation curse could be broken in any type of way. And was just, and even my ex-husband, he was definitely began to use drugs as well. And I just didn't understand. And when people was telling me he was on drugs, I was like, he ain't on drugs, he a hustler. Like, you know what I mean? So he's not using drugs. And then when I found out he was, I'm like, well, what really been going on with you that you have to, you know, you submitted yourself to using drugs? So I think you're absolutely right. Trauma, I definitely have heard some stories of her life as being young, you know, within the family, but just never understood what keep compressing her to not break that cycle. So like I said, I can be the best supportive to her by not trying to argue back and forth with her or get upset whenever she, you know, she may do things things of that nature. But at the same time, just definitely try to have some understanding. I pray God asks me for understanding, and
Yeah.
and just hoping, because like my father, just meeting him, he had a past as well. He was like, you may not would have known me 10 years ago, or so, or what have you. But he also told me, being in the military, people don't understand a lot of times they give you medication or give you opiates in the military to get over, you know, the depression or whatever, if you're in the war or going through things, and a lot of them get addicted.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And they are people of veterans. Now listen, you could just imagine, just thinking about them watching bodies. Think about them watching bodies. Hold on for a second. Excuse me,
Sure.
y'all. Excuse me
Yep.
one
It's
second.
okay. Yes, y'all. We are talking to Miss Lisa Davis, licensed mental health practitioner, y'all. Her organization, her practice is called Serene for You, but she's definitely given us some great mental health tips about mental health awareness and things to be aware of, and you know, how to overcome some of these situations. And so we're definitely glad to have Ms. Lisa Davis on. If you're just listening, tuned in, we are bringing some highlight on mental health awareness and what it looks like and how we can begin to identify those things. So welcome back again, Lisa.
Thank you so much. You all, I'm getting flooded with text messages
Oh, awesome.
in reference to Cal and his wife. And so I
Yes.
wanted to just
I'm
pause
so
for a
sorry.
second there. But yeah, that is definitely sorry. But back to that though, yes. So and love her. Let me tell you this: anyone who has a family member that's suffering from substance abuse, love them. Don't do like what some people do and some family do. You know, they shun them, don't want to be a part of them, be mad at them, and I've had family members, right? Listen to this. I've heard of family members, not one of my particular family, by the work that I do. Their family member come home from prison, and they've been in jail all their life, and they don't have no other family member but a sister who, she done did good in life, and she cannot allow her family member to come stay in her house because she has red skin furniture in the basement, right?
Oh,
And so that's not support at all. I said that to say that, if you have someone, we need each other. Let me say this: we're like the only race that's against each other. They crack for the barrel, don't want to see nobody else do good. We don't come together. And every other race come together and stick together. Then they say when they go to prison, all the guys stick together. Then when they come home, they beef. And listen, we need to come together. You know what I mean? We need to come together. So if you have a family member that's suffering from substance abuse or mental health, make sure you be supportive and make sure that they get the services that they need. They need you.
Yes, indeed.
They don't need you to be trying to beat up on them. Like your mom said, like you said, Pebbles, with your mom. Your mom, every time she see you, she think about all the things that she didn't do right with you. And everything else that may have occurred prior to you, before you probably was even born.
Right.
Stuff that you don't even have nothing to do about, nothing to do with, So you just want to keep praying, because God has protected her. She's still here. COVID hit. Girl, your mother hit. You hit me, mine's gone. Yours hit.
I'm like, she got 1,000 lives. I keep saying she has 1,000 lives.
You see what I'm saying? I would love to meet her and hug her. I would love to meet her and hug her.
She's right off of Pennsylvania Avenue. When you come down Pennsylvania Avenue, just before you get to Branch Avenue, those brick buildings right on the corner where before you get to the CVS, where it used to be a laundromat there, but they done broke that down.
I know the building is. I know the building up on the hill by the school.
Yes, and I think there's an umbrella mental health awareness downstairs of that building as well.
I'm very much aware of that building.
Yes, and so the streets know us, Miss Debbie. I mean, she still have that sweetheart trying to help people or whatever and stuff of that nature. And I had to tell my grandmother before. She was like, "Well, why? I don't understand what she's doing." I said, "Well, I used to always try to find understanding, but as I read the Bible, how God used people in different places and stuff like that." I said, she probably reaching a lot of them young girls right there where she's at in some type of way. I say, we may not have that connection, but I've seen other young ladies, Miss Debbie, oh, your mom is so sweet, your mom is so this. And I'm just like, because, that she's, it's more understanding. So in that little lifestyle or whatever, she's kind of like their mother in a sense, you know what I'm saying? And so I try to look at it that way and not feel negative about it. Oh, you went back to mute, Lisa. And try not to be negative about it. It is hard sometimes because she can go, like I said, way left. And I'll be like, oh my goodness. Or it can be a very strenuous conversation, or she just, go off the wire a lot. But I had to really learn how to not hate her for it, and to really, still love her for it, and still have that communication with her. And a lot of people would say, I don't know how you do it, or I wouldn't, I'm saying I would have been cut her off and stuff like that. But I'm like, at the end of the day, my grandparents always told me to honor my mother and father so my days will be long. So no matter what it is that they may be doing, I definitely have to keep honoring her and loving her as much as I can and praying for her healing. So yes, indeed. Thanks, Lisa, for sharing that, because it does get hard. And if anyone is out there that have that same situation with their parents, with their spouse, with even your children, definitely try to be as patient with them as possible. And just keep loving as much as possible and always pray. I definitely keep her in prayer every day, every night, because it's still breath in her body and God can do anything. So, yes, indeed. Miss Lisa stepped away from a moment. I'm going to go back into a quick break, real quick, y'all. Listen to a little bit of music because it is Saturday. It's beautiful out here today, okay? So, we'll be right back. This is your girl, Miss Pebbles, and we are on the platform with Miss Lisa Davis.
Yes.
Hey, Saturday.
What up? What up? Say what? Say what? Say what?
Say what? Say what? Yeah.
Left eye. Donnell Jones.
Say what? Say what? Say what? Ooh, girl, you know what's up. Me and my people be rolling, screaming on you and your homies. The very first day of summer, all grown out in a Hummer, babe. Hit the park and parlay. Hope that you walk this way, 'cause you and your girls wanna ride. Play all day, puff on the line. Say what, say what, say what. You know that I like it, baby. Ooh, girl, you know what's up, and you know what I need. Ooh, say what, say what, say what. You know that I'm about it, baby. Ooh, girl, you know what's up.
You know what's up.
I'm digging you. I'm feeling you. You know what's up. I know what's up. Said I'm big on you, and I'm on you. Tell me what's up. Tell me what's up, baby. Peep her thighs and I'm zoning. Run around 2 in the morning, looking fly with the sundress on. I think I feel a bone coming on. Girl, you got me wide open. Waiting all day and I'm hoping. So baby, don't front. Backseat Jeep, you know what I want. Say what, say what, say what. You know that I like it, baby. Girl, you know what's up, and you know what I need. Say what, say what, say what. You know that I'm about it, baby. Girl, you know what's up. Oh, digging you, baby. Yeah, you know what's up. I know what's up. Said I'm big on you, and I'm on you.
Say what? Say what? Say what? So baby, tell me what's up. Can we ascend to higher heights, and when the path gets rough, we can give into brighter nights, breathe with peace, expound by leaps and soul to reap our souls to keep the passions deep and filled with heat. Living this life on the hustle, I barely get enough time. You know me from the platinum, how I stack 'em and shine. You see a lot of contenders, they try to end up in my world. A reputation known as the untouchable girl. I'm moving on and now I'm trying to make a change in my ways. Be the best that I can be to last me all of my days. Now we can blaze pathways or just take our time. Better holler if you hear me, 'cause left eye gon' shine. My eyes don't lie, see how they glisten when you pass me by. You and I don't need permission to be unified. Surely I done seen and heard of many places. Then I traveled around the world, see many faces. Don't let another one get near me if you wanna be true, and show me that nobody else can do it better than you. So if you're serious, I'm curious to see what you got. My love is furious, 'cause I believe in blowing up spots.
Digging you, I'm feeling you.
Untouchable.
What's up?
Eddie F.
Said I'm big,
Darren Lighty.
and I'm on
Left eye. Donnell Jones.
me what's
This
up.
is how it's going down.
Digging you, I'm feeling you. You know what's up. Said I'm big on you, and I'm on you. So tell me what's up.
Hey, tell us what's up, y'all. This is your girl, Miss Pebbles. We are back on the platform. Yes, indeed. And we are talking about mental health awareness right now. And I am on the show. Yeah, I'm on the show. We are talking about mental health awareness, y'all, and exactly what it's doing within our society, within our nation, within our own communities, within our own families, and what to look out for, what signs to pay attention to, and things of that nature. And Miss Lisa Davis has been here with us, sharing some tips and definitely sharing some mental health tips and everything like that. Welcome back, Miss Lisa Davis. I want to thank you for being here today. And a lot of things you've been highlighting on is so very important for our people and to society and things of that nature. I know there's one thing that that's going through my situation with my son. I have switched off, and a lot of people have blamed it on COVID. I have switched him maybe within this year alone to maybe three different professional health providers, just because I didn't see the consistency. Like some he'll start with a therapist or end up the therapist is gone, and then it'd be weeks. And I'm like, okay, but y'all have him on a medication. He's running out of medication. No one has called him to set up an appointment. And then when I do call, I find out, oh, that therapist is gone. We're trying to find another therapist for him. I'm like, well, for me, this can be very detrimental to his health because of the fact that he's on medication, and now that he's running out, like what happens? I have seen, especially in the beginning of the situation where he didn't have medication and different behaviors that came into play. And I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want him getting in trouble. You know, like I said, he's always been a great kid. So for this to have happened to him is very different. I said, but what I'm trying to do is keep him on the straight and narrow. So at some point he can come off the medication. But if there's no consistency involved, you know, I think that affects, you know, a person as well.
You're absolutely correct, Pebbles. One of the things that's very important, and I'm glad that you brought that up. You are very sharp. You are very sharp. Medication. Once a person is on a medication, you definitely want to be able to make sure they can maintain their prescriptions. Let me say this right now in the District of Columbia itself, mental health is at the top where crime is. And you do have providers who are actually overwhelmed, overbooked.
Yeah.
People can't even get appointments right away.
Yeah.
So we're definitely in a time where we need to be serviced. And if we're unable to be serviced, it's almost like we have to do what we have to do. I also want to add too that in reference to providers, if you have an insurance plan, some people do, some people don't. A lot of the Medicare, you know, you're going to get services, but it's not, may not be the best service. Okay, so if you can, and some of us can't afford, but they do have medical plans that you may have to pay into. If you can't, now you may be able to get a good provider and a good servicer. Just because a person changes the doctor, your medication and stuff pretty much should remain the same.
Yes.
Now you want to build a rapport with the people that's helping your son, like the psychologist and the therapist and everything. You want to be able to build a rapport with them so that, and have a number, ask them for a number, ask them for an on-call number, ask them if they have an assistance that could help if they're not available. Now, the other part of that is if you can't get the medication, you know, there are natural things too that a person can take that will help some of these, and you have to educate yourself as to what are some of the things. Acupuncture is a good therapy. Some people use different natural ginger. Some people use different things, raspberry, you know, different citrus foods to help with certain chemical imbalances. Pineapple juice, you know, so we have to find and use every measures that we can, but we definitely want to maintain and ask the doctor, listen, can I get 2 or 3 months of scripts in advance? You know, you want to be able to be fully loaded because you never know what can happen. Just like with the pandemic hit, a lot of us was in shock of my life. You talking about crazy. Hey, Pebbles, I have never been forced to stay in the house only when I was punished as a child and couldn't go outside.
Yeah.
And for some people today, some of the kids now, they love to be inside, and some of it is safer. But when I was a child, I told my son I would rather take that whooping and go outside.
Go outside, me too.
Than to be punished in the house. Oh my God, you take me from outside, but we had so much to do outside. We played together. We had double dutch, hopscotch. We played a Johnson, hide and go get on Friday, and the lights came on. We had to come in the house. So now it's a definitely a different world for sure, for sure. And in this world, we have to change too and adjust to where we are in the world and bring our values and our principles with us. But we also have to know how to deal in this world. And it's not the same
at all.
And we're not going back to the way it was.
No, so that's over.
Right. We're facing adversities moving forward. And we just have to maintain, number one, education. Make sure we know what is going on. Number two, don't be in denial about it. And number three, commit to the process for the betterment of oneself.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. What you shared on that, my daughter went through a traumatic experience when she was only 11 years old. And I was just like, wow, knowing the caseloads of, therapists that was working with her, that worked with her for so many weeks and they put it back on a waiting list and worked with her for so many weeks and put it back on a waiting list. I started getting stacks and stacks of paperwork this high of so many places that I kept taking her to because I wanted her healing was at the forefront. I couldn't think about anything else other than her healing. And I started sharing with my family, and also I work for Prince George's County Schools, and started speaking with counselors. I'm like, listen, if I don't get support that she needs at this moment, by the time, because I'm reading, right? I'm following up, I'm reading on everything. By the time she gets 15, I could possibly lose her. And at 15, she was missing for like 2 years. By the grace of God, I'm thankful that we did get her back. And stuff of that nature, but it still had to continue. The mental health piece had to continue. She had to kind of be deprogrammed and things of that nature. So I was never a believer of medication. Never. I was never a believer of medication at that time. And someone started telling me to give her black seed. I went to a herbalist. So they had prescribed me black seed for her and things of that nature. And I weaned her off the medication for a while. But as she became an adult, she started, going back to counseling and through therapy also of that. But when it comes to the natural herbs and stuff, like, how do you know exactly which herb may be the best for you? Like I said, I don't like people to be dependent on, the medications that are given. But when it comes to natural healing, how do we know what is the best thing for that condition?
Yeah. So, medication has always been just like counseling and therapy and, having a mental health diagnosis has always been something that we have been shamed to even partake in. Again, I'm going to say that if a person needs the medication and it's FDA approved and we can get them to become normal where they're not behaving in a manner that's going to cause harm to them and others, and I would suggest that they stay on the medication. And some people may be on medication for the rest of their lives. So we have to have some acceptance in that area. In reference to the natural, there's a book. I don't have my book here either. Everything is in my office at the other place. I'm actually at home in my home base. But what you can do is, let me tell you what you can do.
Okay.
What you can do is you can Google, for example, iron. For me, low iron. Everybody know, low iron, you know what to eat, right?
Yes, because I have low iron.
Liver, spinach, kale. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So now the best thing that we do have going for ourselves, technology can be good for us in this area. You can Google what are the natural foods or organic things that I can take for high blood pressure. Garlic is going to come up. You know, you can Google what do I take for diabetes. You know, and the information will come up. And then once that information come up, like for garlic, then you can just Google what are the benefits of taking garlic. You know,
Yeah.
and then you can add a supplement into your regimen. You
Yes.
know, you can have your vitamins, eat your garlic, make your smoothie drinks. So like I say, I do meal planning for my company.
Oh,
And
wow.
and I definitely use a lot of vegetables, whey protein. I use a lot of natural products. I use juice and oat milk and non-dairy products. Um, you know, to put in certain drinks because you know, people love coffee. Starbucks be packed, but they going to that Starbucks not just for the caffeine, but the caffeine does something. It hypes some people. Some people it mellows them out. So different things. It's also important. I'm gonna give y'all this secret. You need to know your blood type.
Yes, I say that all the time.
You need to know your blood type. I'm positive. Oh, you need to know your blood type. You and your blood type and the food that you eat and the intake that you eat, you'll be surprised at what you're not supposed to have and what you're supposed to have according to your blood type. That
Yeah.
helps a lot too to know about your chemical environment.
Yes. I say that a lot. Even with me trying to lose weight, I just went and got all my testing and everything done. And I'm just like, because I think a lot of things that I eat, I'm very healthy, just fat. So I think that things that I eat that I think are good for me may be against me and based off my blood type. So I want to start eating a little bit more towards my blood type so I can make sure that those things are working for me and not against me.
That's right. And also for everyone that's listening here, one of the greatest things that we have is nature. You know, and whenever you can, and when you don't want to the most, make sure you get outside and take a nice walk. Make sure you take time to stop and meditate. Make sure you find something that you like to do that's soothing for you, whether it be a bath, whether it be a nice spiritual show, something that's relaxing and calm. Get a chance to get outside and walk. I like to get up in the morning when the birds are chirping. I love to hear the sound of the birds. And when
Yeah.
I can get out and walk around water and hear the sounds of the birds,
Yeah.
I am so soothing and it'd be so grateful. Like I start appreciating everything, the good, the bad, and the
Yeah.
indifference,
Yes,
you know.
indeed. Yeah, water is my therapy for sure. Like, I'm so grateful for Chesapeake Beach because it's only a few moments from me. And sometimes after a long day of work, I go straight down there from work and just sit
Yeah.
for a while. And it's always a common mechanism for me. And so water is definitely my therapy. I actually, when I retire, I need to be by the water. I already know
Okay.
it.
Yeah. And for those
Yeah.
who are not, and for those that are not close by water, you know, and I know people don't want to run water bills, they actually have in the stores where you can buy like one of those desktops that has tranquility where the rocks and you put the water and you plug it up and you can put it by your bed
Yes.
at night and you can actually hear. I actually had one if you want me to show y'all, but I actually had one and by my bed and just run the water and at night it just sometimes
Yes.
just to relax. So for those that are not for water, there's so many different things we can do for therapy. I wish I can be here with you all day. I love the sense of smell. You know what I mean? So I got so much
Yeah.
going on around the wellness piece. We can be here forever, and I would like for you to have me to come back. And,
Absolutely.
and I want to say this too while we're here. If it's somebody on this line that's in need of some type of help, whether it be themselves or their family member, they can get in contact with you, Pebbles, and you can put them in contact with me, and I'll be glad to either direct them, help them, or see what we can do to get some better clarity and to work some things out.
Absolutely. Definitely would do that, Lisa. I want to thank you today for taking time out your day and coming to the platform and sharing everything that you share with us today about mental health, awareness, the signs to look for, the difference in taking your medication, have building a big good rapport with your practitioners, and also having that team from the primary doctor through the to the psychologist, through the therapist, through the counselor, because I think that is very adamant and important. And thank you for highlighting even the drug abuse and, saying how to be supportive for those relatives or those people that's in our lives that are struggling from addiction. And uh, I can never be so. I have to keep reiterating that to myself, and sometimes I just want to just throw my hands up when it comes to my mom, but I don't. But I just want to thank you for highlighting all of those things, and also thank you for giving a moment of silence to those that was lost their lives out here in the DMV. Definitely, 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 and just keep doing what you're doing. The detoxing of the feet. If y'all came in late, she was also talking about how detoxing our feet and how it just bring everything, the stresses and everything that we're coming through, that we may be going through, and just driving that out through our feet and things of that nature. And she does that. She does all of that, and she also does meal preparation as well for her clients. So you are a phenomenal woman. I'm so glad that I met you at our women empowerment session with Betty Murray, and you went there and you done your thing. But once I spoke to you and found out you actually was a mental health licensed practitioner, I definitely wanted to make sure I got you on here, so you can share those health awareness tips, because I think it's so important in our society of what we're going on in this world today. So I just want to thank you again for being here on the platform and taking time out of your day to be here with us today.
Thank you so much, Pebbles, for having me. And I'm such honored to be here. And thank your guests for joining us. And thank Betty Murray for putting us in contact. She's a phenomenal woman as well.
Sure. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, y'all. So y'all heard it right here on the platform. We are here. I don't know what's going on with my screen right now. It's the lighting or something in the room. It's being ridiculous, but it's being ridiculous. But anyway, I just want to thank you again. And Lisa, is there anything, I know your organization, your business, but can you let them know where they can reach you and Clean and Serene for You?
Yes, they can reach me, clean and serene for you at gmail.com. And they can also call 301-839-1919. That's clean and serene for you at Gmail. So clean is spelled just like clean, CLEAN, and AND, the number 4, the letter U at gmail.com. Yeah,
Yes.
so everybody just hug themselves. Everybody, I don't know, tell everybody to get that love to
Give
yourself.
yourself a hug.
Yes,
Yes,
we need it. We
yes,
need it. We listen. We
yes,
we definitely
yes,
did. Hug on
yes.
yourself. Love on yourself more today than you did yesterday. God
Absolutely.
bless you all. God bless you all.
God bless you. Thank you so much, y'all. This is your girl, Miss Pebbles, and we on the platform. And we was just here with Miss Lisa Davis, a Clean and Serene for You, giving us some mental health awareness. I'm about to go into a quick break so I can give y'all inspirational words of today so y'all can continue on with your Saturday. Thank you for being here. This is your girl, Miss Pebbles, on the platform. Word up.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, darling.
It's like candy. I can feel it when you walk, even when you talk. It takes over me. You're so dandy. I wanna know, can you feel it too? Just like I do. This stuff is starting now. It's the same feeling I always seem to get around. Yeah. that make me. I thank heaven for the things that feels like candy. Sure are sweet, sweet. It's like candy. You're taking my appetite, but it's alright. It's like candy. Oh, look real nice, wrapped up tight. Giving me a heart attack. It's the kind I like. It's like candy. It's like candy. Why you do? You're like a brand new feeling in a special way. A surprise package on a bright, clear, sunny day. And wrapped up tight. So good, so good. Strawberry, raspberry, all those good things. Violets and gumdrops, that's what you're saying to me. Oh, sweet candy. It's like candy. Sure seems like good candy to me. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. It's like candy. Watch this. Oh, baby. It's like
It's your girl, Miss Pebbles, on the platform, y'all. Be right back.
It could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. Loving you is like a battle, and we both end up with scars. Tell me who I have to be to get so reciprocity. See, no one loves explain myself. As painful as this thing has been, I just can't be with no one else. See, I know what we've got to do. You let go, and I'll let go too. 'Cause no one's hurt me more than you, and no one ever will. No matter how I think we go, you always seem to let me know it ain't working, it ain't working, it ain't working, it ain't working. And when I try to walk away, you hurt yourself to make me stay. This is crazy. This is crazy. Oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. Care for me, care for me. I know you care for me. There for me, there for me. You said you'd be there for me. Cry for me, cry for me. You said you'd die for me. Give to me, give to me. Why won't you live for me? Care for me, care for me. You said you care for me. There for me, there for me. Said you'd be there for me. Cry for me, cry for me. You said you'd die for me. Give to me, give to me. Why won't you live for me? Care for me, care for me. You said you care for me. There for me, there for me. Said you'd be there for me. Cry for me, cry for me. You said you'd die for me. Give to me, give to me. Why won't you live for me? Care for me, care for me. You said you care for me. There for me, there for me. Said you'd be there for me. Give to me, give to me. Why won't you live for me? Cry for me, cry for me. You said you'd die for me. When I needed you,
This is your girl, Miss Pebbles. You are tuned into the platform. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I want to thank our special guest, Miss Lisa Davis, for Clean and Serene for You. She is a licensed mental health therapist that was here today sharing with us some mental health awareness tips and how to be supportive for our families and our loved ones. So thank you again, Miss Lisa Davis, was coming out here. We are celebrating phenomenal women. Yes, indeed. It is still Mother's Day month, y'all. Yes, indeed. Like I said, don't be tuned in next month. I got nothing but the fellas for Father's Day, celebrating phenomenal men next month. I have another phenomenal woman coming on next week from the ATL. Yes, indeed. She is actually my childhood friend and from Jersey. And I am thankful that she will be coming here next week. I'm proud of her business endeavors. So yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. Listen, make sure North Carolina, throw your hands up. Summer Breeze 2022, celebrating Juneteenth, is coming to Papa Pete's Family Farm in Clinton, North Carolina. Listen, we got a lot of artists and singers and signing up, performers, entertainers. They have been signing up, y'all. So the lineup is definitely going to be dope. We have vendors as well that will be there. We have food vendors, clothing vendors. Yes, indeed. And even some adult beverages. We have a lot of great things for the kids, y'all. Moon bounces. I realize the language in North Carolina has changed from what the language I do up here. So the moon bounces are considered bouncy houses. So we got bouncy houses. water slides, face painting for the kids, a lot of great giveaways. We got some prizes that we are also giving away to our contestants, artists that have signed up, y'all. We got maybe about two more events that's going to be locked down for all summer. So definitely want y'all to stay tuned. But June 18th, we want y'all to be there at Papa Pete's Farm. It is an event for the whole entire family. That's right in Clinton, North Carolina. Listen, also outside, people are very invited. You know, I don't care what state you in, what city you in. Come and celebrate Juneteenth with us. So make sure those flyers been going out. I was trying to get it up here on the screen, but I think in my email I got very different flyers going on. So I want y'all to have the right and correct flyer. But listen, we have been putting it on every network that we have, our personal pages as well as our networking pages. So make sure that you go on there and you get the link, sign up and register. If you have not been able to register using the QR scan code, make sure you go to 810 Studios of Clinton.com. Go to 810 Studios of Clinton.com and actually go on the website. And when you go on the website, scroll down a little bit, you will see that flyer. Click on that flyer. You should be able to get to the links from there. If not, you can also email us and we will make sure we get those links to you, or go ahead and call me at 202-760-8179. Again, my number is 202-760-8179, or you can go ahead and email us at 810studios@gmail.com. And we're going to make sure that we get those links out to you so you'll be able to register. If you are not able to click on the QR codes and links, listen, I know I have an Android Galaxy. It's kind of probably an outdated Android or whatever, so I can never really get my barcodes to work. So my scanning codes to work. So I am one that have to go on to a different link or whatever to do what it is I got to do. So if you having that problem, make sure you reach out to us and we're going to help you through that. Okay. Yes, it is Saturday, y'all. It is hot everywhere. Make sure y'all hydrate your bodies. Make sure you got some water. Stay cool and refresh as much as possible. I got some birthday shout outs to give out real quick. Happy birthday, Veronica Thomas, aka Mootsie. She is having her birthday event, her annual birthday event down in Garland, North Carolina. I know it's gonna be off the chain today, baby girl. I'm so sorry I can't be there with you today, but definitely I got you when I see you on the weekend. Also, I want to shout out to my homeboy Marquette. Y'all know we call him Big Shooter up here at the DMV. He just finished celebrating a birthday. Listen, y'all, it is Taurus season. The Geminis is ready to get it popping and take over. You know how they flip-flop, okay? No disrespect to the Gemini. So Taurus, y'all had y'all season. It's Gemini season. It's summertime, y'all. And yes, we about to get it in. Shout out to my girl, Barbara, Queen Pettis. She's definitely giving a little barbecue and a pool event today. So y'all know I'm ready to take a splash. But it is hot out here. So yes, make sure you stay cleansed, dehydrated, and cool as possible because it is summertime, baby. Yes, indeed, and ain't nothing we can do about it. You hear me? So make sure y'all have fun this summer. Be safe this summer. And again, mental health awareness, and not just for this month, but it's every single day. So make sure you love up on your people, support your people, and make sure you pay attention to signs, especially when it comes to our children, because we definitely got to come up with a plan to stop killing each other out here, okay? So we want to do that. Listen, y'all, I'm so thankful for all y'all tuning in and rocking with me today. This is your girl, Miss Pebbles. Make sure y'all tune in next week, and make sure y'all go ahead and download 810 Studios on your Roku channel. Nice, y'all. I love y'all. Have a great day.
Well, yeah. Oh. What do you do when you love somebody and everything is going wrong? Oh, Lord. Nobody knows the way you feel about it, 'cause only you know. You can't leave it alone. Ah, here we go again. Ah, here we go again. I thought what we had was over. Here we go again. Ooh, ah, here we go again. What do you do when you love somebody and you decide to go it alone? Ah, no, no. It never pays to give up on someone when on the inside the feeling is strong. Oh, here we go again. Oh, here we go again. I thought what we had was over now. Ooh, baby, oh, here we go again. After all we've been through, baby, yeah, I keep coming back to you now. Out of all the women in the world, I keep coming back to you, yeah, baby. What do you do when you love somebody and realize you're walking away?